Hello and welcome. So we are here today at the Dream Factory in Palm Desert, California. An amazing space for creators and people just to come together for business like. My name is Joffrey, creator of the hit podcast, The Blank Check, available right now on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your downloads. So I'm here today with an amazing human being, gentleman. We go way back, about 30 minutes ago?
I think about 30 minutes,
30 minutes ago, but we connected. We are blood brothers. We're already planning bachelor parties and everything else in the future, right?
Yep.
So I am here with Mr. Marcel Benson of Resignation Financial. So introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background, like upbringing. I know we chopped it up. So you came from Baltimore. So what did that look like? You were a cat growing up in the 90s, right?
Yeah, growing up in the 90s, and I will stop you, right? Because if anybody from where I'm from sees this and they hear that you said Baltimore,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm from Maryland. I'm from Maryland.
Okay,
but Prince George's County is a totally different place, totally different vibe, right? So I had to correct you on that one.
Okay.
But I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland. I went to school. I was first generation college, first generation entrepreneur. Went the traditional route of going to college and getting a job just because I wanted to just kind of like appease my parents and make them proud. About 5 years into my career, I realized that I wanted to, just kind of like branch out on my own and, do my own thing. So I started a wristwatch company called Benson Watch Company, which I still own. We came up with a slogan that time should be spent doing what you love. We use that company to inspire the masses to do that. But it was in that time that I realized that a lot of small businesses, don't have a ton of capital. Right. I was trying to figure out a way to pay myself. I went from making six figures in corporate to, paying myself, maybe $10,000 a year because, a lot of the money has to be reinvested into the company to grow. So, when I realized that was an issue, I started to, learn ways to replace my income. So I learned stock trading and then eventually got to a point where I started training people and then eventually getting to the place where I manage capital for companies.
Excellent. And so for any of our live audience, anyone watching this, get your phone out right now. Go onto your banking app. It might be your Chase Mobile. It might be your Wells Fargo. Take a look at that amount on there and tell me, are you happy with that number? Is that where you want to be at, or do you want more? And if you're like me or any of us, that number, we always would love for it to be more. And so just a little bit of background in our conversation. So this man has been there, done that. And the depth of what we're going to go in through is whatever your number you're at, you can always grow it. Absolutely. I don't care if you got $5 in your bank account or $5 million. And the crazy part where I want to talk about is so many times I talk to people and they say, oh, if I ever get $1 million. And I can tell you right now, no number is ever satiable. Like it is always insatiable that you need to grow it. And from personal experience, I said when I hit, 100,000, 500,000, you think that that's it. But the mile marker always moves, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think that's what you spent your career. But let's kind of go back into your history. So you grew up in Maryland, not in Baltimore.
Not in Baltimore.
Apologies to our people watching us out there in Baltimore. Okay, so you start this watch company. But just real quick, before we dive deep, you said that the tagline. Can you say that again?
So the slogan for the company is that time should be spent doing what you love.
Okay. Well, why did you come up with that? That's beautiful, by the way.
So when I originally started the company, like I'd gone and I didn't even give a two weeks notice to my my employer. I was I was a few years into the company and I just realized that it wasn't the direction I wanted to go in. So one day I just hiked up enough courage to just go into HR and quit my job.
How old were you at this time?
At this time I was probably about 27.
Okay, so you had some guts. You had some guts at a young age. Yeah.
So I went in there, quit, and the slogan came from me telling myself that. Mm-hmm. So I needed something that I could hold on to keep me on my path to to building this company because a lot of things went wrong shortly after that. Mm-hmm. Relationship failed. Mm-hmm. a few things. Obviously, I'm not working anymore. Mm-hmm. But it was
no girl, no job, right?
But that happens in life, and that was a defining moment for me. It made me realize what was most important, and it was really just understanding who I was, what was important to me, and then pursuing that. And in that pursuit, I found that all the things that I truly desired and that were for me started to make their way towards me.
Yeah, and real quick, before we go into what you're doing now, I know that a lot of people that are listening to this are at the beginning stages of their careers or their businesses. They're going from, I'm an employee, now I'm shifting over into entrepreneur, and I'm building this out, and I'm building my nest egg. but you hadn't even made it yet. And what I really want to focus in is so many times people think I got to make it before I can do what I enjoy and what I love. But you flipped it and you said, I'm going to focus on doing what I love. And that's how I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so, a lot of people think that a career is something that is safe, right? And there's no knock to anyone who has a job. I think especially in this economy, it's great if you have a job. But belief to me is something that, you're right about it either way you think about it, right? You're always believing. You're either believing that something's going to go wrong or you're believing that something's going to go right. So the wrong is fear. The right is, is faith, confidence, right? So you can make anything work. It just takes time. It takes, consistency. It takes, falling on your face a few times. But, the job is not always the safe route, right? You can, I have plenty of friends who I started with that had, dreams of becoming a partner at the firm that I was working at and, wound up getting laid off in year 4 or year 5, right? Had to start all over and, some sustained multiple layoffs and they all kind of have regrets. Like, there was this one business I wanted to start or there was this one thing that I wanted to do and they kept delaying it. They kept delaying it. So, and obviously shout out to everybody here for taking that leap and having a business because that's something that's, most people won't do. Even when you're having your failures, it's still yours. And you're still on the path of, fulfillment, which is the most important thing. So.
And so we were talking about earlier. So I grew up from downtown San Bernardino, which I always say is the number 2 most impoverished city behind Detroit, population of 100,000. Wow. So the chance of making it out there doing anything good was small, slim, and none, right? So you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, right?
No.
So you were taught on how to invest and how to make millions. They taught you this at a young age, right?
No. My dad worked at a grocery store. When he was working, I had multiple, a bunch of siblings. Nobody finished college or went to college. Prince George's County. Yeah.
So what was so after this job? So you decide, okay, I'm going to start this watch company, right? So, by the way, is that still running? Or what's happened with that?
The watch company is still running. We've been consistently growing. We actually recently secured a collaboration with co-star of Curb Your Enthusiasm, JB Smoove. That piece is going to be dropping in the earlier part of next year. So,
excellent.
Shameless plug.
Okay, hey, plug away. So, how did you get involved into the investment world? Was it like Robinhood app? I by the way, I don't know if this is competitive. So I found this guy on Wall Street Trapper, and he sends me all these ads on Facebook, and I bought his program for like $69.99. Yeah. So how did you find the investment world?
So I actually, when I went to school, right, I told you I was, the biggest thing for me was just to, make my parents proud, to go to school, get a good job. So I looked to see like what could I major in that would pay the most, and it was it was engineering, it was business finance. So I chose business finance, and I wound up getting a high paying job directly out of school in consulting. So I had a bit of a background there, but anyone who's interested in investing, you don't really need a financial background. I spent all these years in finance just to realize that investing is really more about you as an individual. It's a mirror, right? The best investors have patience. They have these human skills that kind of feed one another. So in trading, I became a better human. And, people that have those traits are ultimately, great traders.
Yeah. Well, so what about someone that's saying like, I don't have $20,000, $50,000 extra. I'm just barely have enough to, put some food on the table. Yeah. I would like to invest. Is there even an opportunity for someone to get into the market like that?
Absolutely. When I started, I didn't have that.
So it can be done.
Yeah. I've grown, multiple accounts over 6 figures, starting, from just $2,000. So, obviously it doesn't always happen overnight, and it also depends on the market conditions. We happen to have a lot of, room to run, coming off the pandemic. So there were a lot of opportunities to, really multiply your money. It's not typical, but you can definitely, grow your money, pretty quickly.
And this is one thing I tell people, it's so important, the circle of the people that you associate with. So if you're having conversations about we can't afford our bills, and no, I hate to say it so many times, people within our own circles, our family, complaining about I don't have this, I don't have that, instead of talking to a person who, hey, this is what I have to work with. I put it in the hands of a person who's already done it, such as yourself.
Yeah.
So let's say someone wants to work with you. What would that look like?
I mean, there are several ways to work with me. I always encourage people to get the education first, right? Like there's a lot of people in the financial world that are sharks. They just want your money, right? I encourage people to take my classes. I have free courses. Get educated on it yourself first so that you understand for yourself, right? Nobody's going to take care of your money better than you are. So, if it's a time thing, you go and hire the expert, but you want to make sure you have a general understanding of what's going on. So, I also provide education for people, to learn investing as well. So that would be a great place to start. If you realize that it's not something that you have the time to learn to do, we also offer the services of managing capital for, certain net worth individuals and also for small business owners.
Mm-hmm. You said something earlier about understanding what you have in management. So I was saying, like my car, if I loan it to someone, no one's going to take better care of my car than me, right? So it's like when you give your money over to a quote unquote advisor, are they going to manage it? Are they going to care about making me as much money as I would for myself?
So here's the thing. I mean, I don't want to badmouth any like companies, but a lot of times financial.
You can be real. You can badmouth some people.
Financial advice. I work. I worked in the business. They're making more money on your money typically than you are.
Correct.
Right. Which is
or else they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. It's the same with banks, right? Like the reason that you don't have access to your capital when it's in banks in their holding periods is because that much capital doesn't actually exist in the world. There's a fraction of capital that exists in the world than actually in the bank. So there's holding periods so that they can lend it to somebody else and they can go into the capital markets and invest it and make more money so that they can then pay you a small interest rate and make the real money.
Yeah, and let me ask you. So I'm part Mexican on my side.
Yeah.
You're Canadian. Is that? Okay. So let me ask you this. So is there, for I know growing up, there's always a stigma about minorities and investment. Yeah. Why do they feel that there's a certain block to it that's only meant for the bankers with the ties on Wall Street?
Well, the system's working effectively, right? Everything about how this system has been developed is it's essentially to prop up a particular demographic. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Those Canadians.
So everything everything is built around that. So everything in media kind of paints the picture of, quote, minorities to be a certain, type of person. But the reality is that like this investment game is a game that is accessible to anyone. There's a lot of fear mongering that is, that you may not even recognize as fear mongering that kind of keeps you in this like small like mindset where you're dependent and reliant on someone else. But the moment that you start to just kind of like own who you are and start thinking, from a place of, you being able to take control of your life, then, that's when things change.
So it's not just knowledge is power, but it's also the execution of the knowledge that you have.
Absolutely.
Right? And so you provide some of these courses. By the way, hopefully we'll be able to get, we'll have some links to be able to get that. Because, one thing I always say, when you have some skin in the game, I don't care if it's $5, $10 of investing, you're going to look at it differently. Yeah. So when someone talks about like an NVIDIA stock, if I have, $1,000 riding, I'm looking at that every single day versus just some, name in the sky. And you hear this person's making $1 million off of Bitcoin. This person's making this, but I want to know, like, how does this apply to me? So for you, so what are some of the avenues? So let's look at, and I break down for like different business owners. So you have your entrepreneurs that they're, and I don't call them small businesses. They're growing businesses, right?
I like that.
So for a growing business, what would be some suggestions that you would have for them?
In terms of plays that they can get into immediately?
Yes.
Okay, so you're asking for something I charge for.
Yeah, okay, all right. We're going to give them a little bit of, this is the dime hit, right?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Absolutely. No, so today actually was a very, the market got wiped out, as you can see. Yeah. The Fed made an announcement about inflation. They kind of approached it with a bit of uncertainty. So that caused a lot of selling, took a lot of people out of their stop losses, and, some more selling ensued. So, the market is pretty much down right now. We don't know exactly what market we're getting ready to go into, I wouldn't advise anybody make a move right now. But I would say start setting alerts for companies that are in technology, right? NVIDIA, Palantir is a beast. PLTR is the ticker symbol. Micron Technologies, they're responsible for, the microchips that are going to be powering the robotaxis for Tesla. There's AMD. They should have a pretty big year, but we don't know what part of the year it's going to come in. So we've been in a bull market for about 2 years. And typically a bull market lasts about 3.5 years. So we should see some more upside, but there may be some, there may be some downside in 2026. So I would watch, Micron coming to levels like, $80. I would look at.
So real quick. So we might have some novices that are listening for the first time out there.
Sure.
So when you say you would watch, like what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times, before I actually started doing any type of investing, I would hear these words and I'm like, what does that mean? Do I just go old school, open up a newspaper?
Yeah.
So so what are some ways that I can actually like keep track and, like you said, watch these stocks and kind of learn these?
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a real money conversation.
Yeah. So really, really simply put, without getting like too technical, right? Stocks move. The stock market itself is rigged to go up, right? The stock market is supposed to go up. There will be some downsides, but it's supposed to go up, right? So within that bigger frame, there are moments when the stock market is down. And it stops going down at levels that's called support, right? Support is where buyers are. So it's a level. So say the stock is at $90, and then it comes down to 85, and then we find that the stock starts to go up from there. It's because there are buyers sitting it there.
Got it.
Then there's something that's called resistance, which essentially is a level that a stock stops going up and then goes back down. So when I say watch, I mean you want to start watching the stock, just like paying attention to it, looking at the chart, seeing where the price is, and there's support for the company that I just named, Micron, around $80. That would be a great place to get a long-term entry. That's another thing that's important with investing. It's like because we live in a microwave society, you see a lot of people with meme coins, making money like really quickly. So that's people's mindset, but the strategy that works the best is just not needing the money and being able to buy low and let it ride without you missing it. So you shouldn't really be investing money that you're going to need at some point.
And actually have a strategy. And by the way, for any novice, there's even Yahoo, by the way, has a way for you to do like stock tracking. So you actually don't have to purchase a stock. So you can do like stock. There's a lot of stock simulations out there. Edit that out, Spaceboy. But edit that out. So, but that way you can at least kind of keep track of it. And as you start learning the game, so you're not losing real money.
Right, exactly.
And so what about maybe a medium-sized company? So let's say I got my business now. Let's say we hit the million mark. I'm not at the point. I'm not an Amazon. I'm not 5,000 employees. But I got some money coming in the door. Now, what do I do with that? Because a lot of times what I've seen is when I have friends and they make some money, their accountant says, okay, you need to go buy a Porsche or you need to go buy a G-Wagon. So that way you don't get hit hard with taxes at the end of the year. Yeah. My thought, though, is that's a liability. That's not an asset. And the way to true wealth accumulation is to get what? Gain assets over your lifetime, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a growing company, tax avoidance shouldn't really even be in your radar right now.
Got it.
You should be trying to reinvest. You should be trying to find capital investments to build your reserves. So if you're profitable, I'm sorry, but pay the IRS. Like take profit, but also you can avoid some by putting money in in the capital markets. I would advise selling options, right? If you can get 100 plus equity, 100 plus shares in a given equity, then you are able to actually sell options in the equity markets. I don't want to complicate things too much, but the biggest thing is like you should be investing a portion of your profits for sure.
Got it. Right. Okay. And so what about? And I think out here we have a couple business owners that they're doing it very well. Yeah. They're in that, let's say, $10+ million range. So now they're sitting on what we would call like cash reserves. So in the way that I was always told. So my grandparents, God bless their soul, when they had money, what they would do, remember those old school Folgers coffee cans? They would get money, they would stick it at the can, and when my grandparents passed away, we were finding them like in the yard,
It was effective.
under beds. Like they didn't trust the banking system,
Yeah.
they didn't believe in investments. It was just like
They had good
hide,
reasons.
hide money somewhere, you know. So you don't encourage that.
No, I don't.
Obviously. Okay.
I don't encourage putting money under the mattress.
Under the mattress, okay.
But I do like that spirit though, right? Like that person that's thinking about later. So all you have to do is just like kind of like modernize that.
Correct.
And think about
like
what is the version of the mattress. Okay, you can go into something like a bond. You can go into something like equities, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be options. It doesn't have to be something that's risky. It can be something that's pretty conservative. But if you have money sitting in the mattress, it's losing because of hyperinflation. So.
You just you have $1 million surplus in the bank. What do you do with it?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, but if you have $1 million that's in your reserve, meaning like let's say that's your runway for I don't know 2 years, I would take half of that and I would put it in a Mag 7, like some sort of like large technology company that's not going anywhere, and just hold.
Okay. And I think we're running a little bit low on time, so I have a very deep financial question for you. So I hope you're ready for this one.
Let's do it.
So hope you don't mind, but I'm gonna go deep into this one.
Okay.
So you're a single man.
I am a single
So
man.
you meet a lovely young lady out there. She's what did the kids say? She's a dime piece, right? Okay. So she catches your eye. So what does a first date with Marcel look like? Where are you gonna take her to? Is it El Pollo Loco or are you taking her to Fleming? So what does it look like?
For me,
I bet it's El Pollo Loco.
For me, was really important about like just finding. And this goes for like whoever you date, getting to know the person, right? It's not so much about like showing or proving who you are or what you can do, but just more so getting to know like the person on the other side of you, right? I think things that are free allow you to capture the things in life that are free, right? Those are the best things. So you go on a free date to figure out like if this person could, can give you that love, if they have that personality and that, that their heart space is open in a way that, resonates with you. I feel like when you go out to dinner first, right? It's like, something about you wants to show off a little bit. There may be some drinks flowing, so you may not be, 100% yourself. But when you go somewhere like on a hike or a walk or just somewhere quiet where you guys can talk, it's like you're forced to just be in the moment. You're forced to be present, and with your the person that you're with. So
spoken like a true investor. I love it.
I think that's
Find the
best
free
way.
date. We're going to the
But
park.
it's
All right,
not,
bring a blanket.
It's really not
All
about
right.
the money though, right? Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I said, it's whatever you spend at a steakhouse, whatever. It's like, but when do you get a chance to just be with somebody like in nature and just
I like that.
You're doing something like I don't know, maybe your phone's not working, right? Like maybe a rodent runs across and y'all have to be there for each other.
You get to be her protector,
You know what
and
I mean?
like I got this, honey.
I feel like it creates scenarios that wouldn't necessarily be present in
You setting up for the win. So back in my single day, I'll let the cat out of the bag. My date was always Starbucks for a couple reasons. For one, didn't cost a lot of money because I didn't have a lot of money back in the day.
Yeah.
Two, no matter what, would you remember our first date? Yeah, it was Starbucks. But I'd also been to like 30 Starbucks dates before that. And then if it didn't go well, finish my coffee. All right, time to go.
Okay.
And on that one, we're gonna finish it up. But do you have any last words of some advice for just once again? I think that just advice of whether you're a $50 million company, whether you're an upstart, or whether you're a person right now that's got $50 in your pocket and you're looking to grow and to turn your life into something more tomorrow than what it is today.
Yeah, I would definitely just say start educating yourself and investing, all forms, right? The crypto space, we didn't really talk about this, in the interview, but the crypto space is going to be huge, right?
I agree.
Not the meme coins, right? Yeah, you can make some quick run-ups in the meme coins, but the ones that are going to be around, the ones that have
Ethereum,
stand
Bitcoin,
power.
yeah.
Exactly, right? If you're just, you could just put a small portion away daily, have a long-term outlook, right? The longer you don't have to touch your money, the better it performs. people that have lost in Bitcoin, I don't understand because it's been averaging over 100% every year.
You gotta be really bad if you're losing
since
money.
2010. Yeah. So it's like you got freaked out at a time where it dropped a little bit, but just have a long-term perspective. But yeah, educate yourself. Crypto, AI, quantum computing. Look at stocks that are in those subjects, and try to find good companies, buy them low, and hold.
Oh, excellent! Thank you so very much. And how do we get a hold of you? How do we find you?
You can find me. What do I want to do? Benson Watch on Instagram. Marcel Benson on Instagram and LinkedIn.
And what's your OnlyFans account? Okay.
Wrong interview. OnlyFans is Mr. Marcel. Okay. No.
Awesome interview. Yeah. Wonderful wealth of knowledge. And once again, thank you to the Dream Factory for putting this together. And we'll see you next time here in studio. All right. That's a wrap.
That was good. Hey, excellent.